Let's do some expansion. So we're not going to be evaluating here, okay? The directions really should say expand and simplify, okay? But the simplifying part really only applies when we have an integer base here that we can possibly evaluate some of these logs without a calculator. But let's just focus on the expansion part using these rules that we've learned about previously. So here we have a log. Inside the log, we've put parentheses here. These parentheses in this very specific case aren't necessary, okay? Because we assume that the entire product is inside the log, okay? Now, at this point, we would have talked about some of the guidelines for how to do this expansion, okay? They are so like this. Now, this is not step one, step two, step three, step four, step five. These are not, all foolproof, always going to work steps for expanding. It's a good guideline for that, okay? But it's definitely not a one size fits all. But we can kind of roll through it for now with this. So like when you look at this problem, okay, first thing you want to look for is radicals. We don't see any radicals, okay? So we don't have to write any rational exponents here. Second thing we want to look for is with this one singular log that we have, is there an exponent for every that applies to everything inside this logarithm? And the answer is no. So that's where the parentheses here, okay, when we see those, if there was a number up here, I'd move that number down, okay? Now, an alternative approach would be to distribute that, we'll quote unquote distribute that exponent to all of the terms. That is an option, okay? We can talk about that when we see that, but for right now, we don't have to worry about it, okay? But I'm just gonna keep emphasizing that point. Even if I wrote this log like so, okay, where I just commuted those two terms and I wrote it like this, the 2 is only the exponent for the a, not for everything that's in here. So I wouldn't move this 2 in front of this log, okay? Because if I did that, well, we can talk about what that would mean. So for right now, we don't even have to worry about moving that 2 in front, okay? We're looking inside the log and we see a product. All right, the log of a product becomes the sum of two logs. So I break that product apart into its factors, right? So there's like a natural break here, right? If there was a number, I'd do that as well, but I don't have to worry about it. After I separate these logs, this process, it iterates. It goes back, we go back through it again. We look for exponents, right? We look for products. We look for more fractions inside, like quotients, okay? So again, this, oh, where'd I go? Here we go. This part of this process is an iterative process, okay? We break the logs apart, then we go back and we look for exponents in front again, right? And then we look for fractions, then we look for products. So this process, okay, is the same over and over. It's algorithmic to some extent, right? We just keep repeating it in the new scenario. So right now we look inside this one logarithm. We do have an exponent. There is no product, okay? This is the exponent for the entire piece that's inside the log. So I'm going to move that 2 in front. All right, so we end up with this. Look at this second log. I have no product, I have no quotient, I have no exponent. There's nothing to do to help expand this problem. Okay, so we're done. And I can't simplify this because I can't tell you what power I raise x to get a. And that's what we mean when we talk about simplifying. So when you look at this, all right, contrast that with if I had moved this 2 in front of the log. And we're going to see some of this later on, okay? But this is, again, this is bad. This is not what we should be doing. But if I did, then when I expand this logarithm, the 2 goes with both of these logs, okay? Because it's in front of that one logarithm, when this duplicates, for lack of a better word, the 2 has to go with both of them. And that's certainly not what we end up with when we follow the correct procedure, okay? So that's why we have to be very careful when we're looking at these exponents that are inside these logarithms. Make sure that we only move that number in front if we're absolutely certain that it's the exponent for the entire product or quotient inside the log. That wasn't the case here.